Something big just happened in the global oil market, and the White House is already taking credit for it. Oil prices dropped noticeably in recent days, and Donald Trump is pointing directly at one reason: the dramatic shift in the relationship between the United States and Iran. According to Trump, the pressure campaign worked, and if he's right, the consequences go far beyond a number on a gas pump. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, you'll understand what this price drop really means, who's winning, who's losing, and what could flip everything back in the other direction overnight. For years, the relationship between Washington and Tehran has been one of the most volatile in the world. Every escalation, every threat, every sanction, every military move has sent shockwaves through energy markets. Here's why. Iran sits on some of the largest oil reserves on Earth, and its position near the Strait of Hormuz, the narrow waterway where nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through every single day, gives it enormous leverage. When tension rises between the US and Iran, markets get nervous. And nervous markets mean higher prices at the pump for everyone, in America and around the world. So when Trump says the relationship between the two countries has fundamentally changed, markets listen. In his latest statement, Trump made it clear that he sees the cooling of US-Iran tensions as a direct result of his foreign policy strategy, what his team describes as a combination of maximum pressure and strategic negotiation. The message from the White House is simple: Iran blinked. And because of that, the threat of a major disruption to global oil supply has dropped significantly. That shift, real or perceived, was enough to bring oil prices down. But here's the part that most people are missing. Lower oil prices sound like good news on the surface. And for American drivers and consumers, in the short term, it absolutely is. Gas prices could drop, shipping costs go down, airline tickets get cheaper, and inflation pressure eases slightly. The Federal Reserve watches this closely too. Cheaper energy means less upward pressure on prices across the economy. On the military side, lower tensions with Iran also means U.S. naval forces in the Persian Gulf region are operating in a slightly less dangerous environment. The mine-hunting ships, the carrier groups, the intelligence assets, they're still there, but the temperature has dropped at least a few degrees. But pull back a little further, and the picture gets a lot more complicated. Here's the deeper game. The countries that depend most on oil revenues, including Iran itself, are now in a very different position. For Iran, lower oil prices are painful. Their economy runs on energy exports, and every dollar drop in the price per barrel squeezes their budget harder. Some analysts argue that's exactly what Trump wants. Not just a diplomatic win, but an economic one. Weaken Iran financially, while claiming the credit for a calmer world. And then there's China. China is the single largest buyer of the oil that flows through the Persian Gulf. A lower oil price benefits Beijing in the short term, cheaper energy for their factories and transport. But it also signals that the United States has significant influence over the conditions that set those prices. That's a strategic message, sent without a single shot fired. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia and other Gulf producers are watching their own revenues shrink. Lower prices are great for consumers, but OPEC countries have budgets to balance too, and some of them may push back. So what happens next? There are two realistic scenarios playing out right now. In the first one, the diplomatic shift holds. The US and Iran continue back-channel negotiations, oil supply stays stable, prices remain lower, and Trump heads into the political season with a genuine economic win to show voters: cheaper gas, lower inflation, fewer military risks. In the second scenario, something breaks the fragile calm. A provocative statement, a military incident, a collapsed negotiation round, or a new sanction trigger. In that case, the market reaction would be swift and brutal. Prices spike, the Strait of Hormuz goes back on high alert, and all the progress evaporates in hours. That's the dilemma Trump now owns. He's taken public credit for the drop in oil prices. That means if prices go back up, for any reason, he also owns that. And in politics, that kind of ownership can turn a win into a liability faster than any opponent ever could. So the real question is this a genuine turning point in one of the world's most dangerous rivalries, or is it a temporary calm before the next storm? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you think is really going on here. And if you want more breakdowns like this, the real moves behind the headlines, subscribe so you don't miss the next one.